Hyundai just had a blowout sales month in July. Year over year, Ioniq 5 sales are up 70%. This is the biggest increase the model has ever seen. Even Ioniq 6 sales are up 22%. So in the month of July in the United States, Hyundai sold 5,818 Ioniq 5s and 949 Ioniq 6s. So the new kid on the block, Ioniq 9, sold 1,073 units, so it's already better selling than the Ioniq 6. What's really interesting to see now is that the Ioniq 5 is no longer towards the bottom of Hyundai's monthly sales figures. It's actually getting closer to the middle in terms of volume. So when we go down the list of their products, the Ioniq 5 at 5,800 units is obviously selling better than Ioniq 6. Obviously selling better than Ioniq 9. It's selling way better than the Santa Cruz at 2,300 units. It's selling better than the Hyundai Sonata at 4,400 units. And it's selling better than the Hyundai Venue at 2,500 units. It's almost in parity with the Hyundai Kona at 6,300 units. So it's kind of mid-pack for Hyundai's lineup now, which is super exciting. Now, as many of you know, the federal tax credit ends at the end of September. So I think a lot of this is due to the fact that people are going out there, they want to get these cheap lease deals while they still can. We don't really know what's going to happen. Is Hyundai going to continue offering big incentives with these good sales numbers? As they're gaining market share, are they going to want to continue capturing that market share and just discount the vehicles another $7,500 still? They might just do that. They did that for a long time when the cars didn't qualify for the $7,500 credit, just to keep up with the US built cars like Tesla. I really look forward to seeing what August and September's sales numbers look like. I'm sure they're going to be just as good, if not better, than what we are currently seeing from July. When looking at the year-to-date sales figures, Ioniq 5 is up 12%. Unfortunately, Ioniq 6 down 5%. But so far this year, Ioniq 5 has done just about 25,000 units, Ioniq 6, 7,300, and Ioniq 9, 2,100. Keep in mind the Ioniq 9 just went on sale in June, so it's still relatively new. So for those of you who are visual learners, I put together a graph with ChatGPT showing what sales numbers look like for Ioniq 5 since it first went on sale in December 2021 in the US. And you can see it's a pretty steady climb upward. You can see the first year or so, sales were kind of stuck between 1,000 and 3,000 units. And then it just kind of started the ramp up from there. Other than this past July, the best sales month we ever saw was about 5,000 units. So this past July crushed that number. You can see there's a blip at the beginning of 2025, kind of when they ramped down the sales of the 2024 Ioniq 5 and started ramping up the sales of the new car that's built in the US. So I'm super pumped to see the 3 Ioniqs all over the place now. I was just in Lexington, Massachusetts last week. Those of you who are into American history might know that is where the Revolutionary War started. My fiance and I just went for lunch and checked out some of the sites there. We were only there for, I think, 2 hours. In that time, I think I saw 10 to 12 Ioniq 5s and 6s. It was just absolutely crazy. I actually took a photo of my car, and 2 spots behind it was another Ioniq 5, and we were across the street and there was an Ioniq 6. I thought that was a fun photo, but I just love seeing them all over the place now. It's super cool. Now let's jump over to Kia and look at their sales numbers, because it's a completely different story for them this year. EV9 in the month of July, 1,737 units. EV6, dismal. 1,290 units. That is not good. Now, I realize the EV6 was just going through the same thing where they were ramping down exports and bringing the US built cars online, but they are not even close to parity with Ioniq 5. You can see in 2024, EV9 was at 1,800 units and EV6 was closer to 1,600 units. But where it starts to look really bad is with year-to-date sales. So far, year-to-date, EV9, 6,675, and EV6, not much better, 7,165. Comparing that to Ioniq 5, it's almost 4-to-1. Because the Ioniq 9 is so new, there's not really a way to compare it to EV9. So last year, EV9 did 11,486 units and EV6 did 12,488. 5 sold almost twice as well as EV6 last year, and this year is shaping up to be even worse for EV6 versus Ioniq 5. If all things remain equal, Ioniq 5 will do about 50,000 units and EV6 will only do about 15,000. So I'm not really sure what's going on with Kia, but Hyundai is destroying them. As I've mentioned, a lot of people think that Hyundai and Kia are all lovey-dovey with each other. In the US, they are not. They are fierce competitors. They want to capture as much market share from the other as possible. They are viewed as completely separate companies here in the US, so that's the way they treat each other. Even though Kia competes with Hyundai, I still want to see Kia succeed. So we are definitely heading into uncharted territory with what is happening with incentives ending, how are prices going to go up due to tariffs. Hyundai has been losing billions of dollars due to tariffs. So that's unfortunate, but the US did just finally come to a deal with South Korea where it's going to be a 15% tariff on basically everything. So instead of the 25% that Hyundai was expecting, it got down to 15%, which still isn't great, but it's better than 25%. But stay tuned to the channel because we'll be talking about this more into the future. I'll probably put out a video sometime in October where we go over August and September sales and take a look at what incentives look like and what you should do. I don't really want to tell people to go out and lease cars right now just because the incentives are ending, because we don't know what kind of incentives Hyundai and Kia and Genesis are going to continue offering after the fact. If you really want to play it safe, yeah, I'd say probably go out and get your car. I myself am struggling with what I should do with the incentives ending. I would like to lock myself into another cheap lease for another 3 years. I would prefer 2 years, but if I can save some money doing a 3-year, I might just do that. My options are pretty limited in what other EVs I could possibly get. As much as I like Genesis products, I don't really want to buy one for the channel just because they sell so few of them. I want a more mainstream car. And that kind of leaves me with only 3 options, being the EV6, which is very similar to the Ioniq 5, so I'm not sure if I want that. EV9, which I don't really know if I want because I now have Alex, who owns an EV9, helping out here on the channel, making videos about that. And then the Ioniq 9, which I do like the Ioniq 9, but it's just so much more car than I need. We don't have kids, we don't have dogs. We live in an apartment now. I'm not hauling around things from Home Depot or Lowe's like I was when I was living in my house. So it just seems like way more car than I need. In a perfect world, the Kia EV3 would already be on sale in the US. I'd probably get an EV3. The EV4 doesn't appeal to me, and it's not going to be out by the end of September. The refreshed Ioniq 6 isn't going to be out by the end of September. The Kona Electric is more or less being discontinued for the 2026 model year, so I don't want to get that. That's going to be irrelevant in a few months. I don't want a sports car, so I don't want an Ioniq 5N. So my options are pretty limited if I want to stay in the Hyundai Kia family. I have had offers from some dealerships to buy out the rest of my Ioniq 6 lease so I can get out without it costing me anything. And if you are looking to get out of a lease early, dealerships will work with you to get out early because they can get big incentives for sales volume. So if you can be that person that pushes them over a certain volume for the month, they are usually more than happy to get you out of a lease as long as you're getting into another Hyundai. So for me, I really don't know what to do. Might just be better for me to wait a few months until the EV3 or EV5 or whatever is out in the US is out. So I can cover that on the channel. Let me know down in the comments section what you guys think is going to happen when the tax credit ends. Do you think prices are going to go up? Do you think they're going to stay the same? Do you think they're going to go down? But anyway, that's just the inner workings of my brain. If you guys liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. Check out my store at ioniqi.com for accessories for your Hyundai, Kia, or Genesis EV. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.